So, as mentioned in a previous video, I said I might be going to Cerro Catedral and Refugio Frey and the Laguna Toncek. Today is the day that I'm going to be doing that, and I'm stood at this bus stop here on San Martin Street, and I've got to wait about 10 minutes for the bus, and it's around 9 o'clock at the moment. So I've arrived now at Villa Catedral, which is a village in the Catedral mountain, and this group in the distance behind me, I joined 3 of these French people in an Uber up here because the number 55 bus didn't come on the main road past the sort of tourist information block and went a bit further inland. So another girl here missed the bus, and I think 2 of her friends did as well, so we managed to share an Uber, and I actually paid a cheaper price than I would have done for the bus. I paid $4,850 for the Uber because it was like 19,000, as the bus would have cost 5,500. Both of those prices are around £4 or £5. But I'm not going to join them because I want to go and see a church at the Cerro Catedral first before I go on the walk to Refugio Frey. So I'm here now at the Capilla de la Villa Catedral. It's actually a really nice little church here. Oh, it's locked unfortunately, but it's in a really nice setting. These mountainous backgrounds. The hills are alive here. This is the view from the backside. Nice stained glass window here. It's probably the best view of the church with the mountainous background behind it as well. It took me 10 minutes to walk to that little church. So that means 10 minutes back, which means it adds 20 minutes to my hike today. And without that 20 minutes, it was expected to be around 10 hours, around 4 hours from the village Catedral to Refugio Frey and Laguna Toncek. And then from there back via a different route, doubling back myself to Lake Gutierrez, which could take up to 6 hours. So you can now add 20 minutes onto that. But, as always, I'm going to time the real time against the time that it says at the tourist information and online. I've arrived later than expected. The bus was supposed to arrive no later than 9:15, which means I would have got here for sort of no later than 10 to start my hike, but the time is now 10:30, which isn't that bad. But thank you to Leo, the French lady who approached me at the bus stop. She mentioned to me that I'd look like I was going for a walk today, and she was also waiting at the same bus stop for number 55, and I joined 2 of her friends who were also waiting at another bus stop that the bus didn't pass to get the Uber here. So I haven't got here too late, and I should get to the first destination, Refugio Frey, by 11:01. By 2:30 latest, assuming I don't stop along the way. The only other interesting point, I was just checking where I was going. The only other interesting point up to this point is that when we got in the Uber, it was actually a taxi, and he pressed the button to put the meter on. Now, the Uber was prepaid by card for around 19,000, and when I got out, I checked the meter, and it was like 29,000, but he didn't ask anything of us, so maybe it was just an intimidation tactic, like a fake charge of an elephant, something like that. So I'm just leaving the village now. This is kind of what the village looks like, and the place I'm going to be walking to, Refugio Frey and Lake Toncek, is essentially on the other side of these peaks. So I'm going to be walking around, sort of up and around the mountain there, and around sort of 3-4 hours that direction. I do need the toilet, however I've just tried a locked door behind me. I didn't know it was locked before I tried it, and I think all of these restaurants here are sort of closed today because it's Sunday. So I couldn't find a bathroom on arrival in the car park here at Villa Catedral. So instead I'm just going to start walking the trail, and maybe one lucky plant in this vast hectare of base forest will get a lucky amount of nutritional urine. When you arrive in Villa Catedral by bus or by taxi, they'll drop you off over there in this big car park. You'll see a big car park, and if you look left towards the mountain, that's where the route starts. And you should be able to see, depending on your eyesight, a wooden sign that says Frey on it, and I'll show you what it looks like up close. So, this is the sign here, Refugio Frey, with a yellow arrow telling me to go that way. And it says, ascend in 4 hours. So I'm now starting the route, and wow, it's very hot today. This is a disadvantage of coming later in the day. If you come around, get the early bus, which is around 7, between 7 and 8, then you'll be able to start the first few hours of the hike with a nice cold air of Patagonia. I've started the stopwatch, equaliser, 10:50 is when I entered past that wooden sign. Literally 3 minutes into the walk, if that, maybe even 2, you've got to veer off onto your right at the small black sign that says Refugio Frey. You can see the start of the route just down there behind me. And then you will finally start on what is akin to what you would expect from a hiking path. Just a few minutes later, you'll come to this main road, and you want to cut straight across it. There's a blue sign this time that says Frey. And just about 10 seconds after following that blue sign, don't go down this hill, veer off to the right, and you'll see a slightly inconspicuous sign that says Frey. And then you'll walk through this gate, and from here on there should be no more roads where cars can access. So I'm about maybe half an hour into the walk, and this lake behind me here, this vast blue lake, is Lake Gutierrez. So when I reach the peak, which is somewhere way behind that peak there, my return journey will be down there. Bit of a dangerous section here, with this sort of fall down here. Just checked the stopwatch, I'm 55 minutes into the walk, and I'm coming now around the sort of side face of this cliff on the left hand side where I first started the video. It's quite a sort of scaly walk here down these sort of steep sides down here, and I'm going to be walking sort of up these paths and along these rocks all the way along the front of this cliff and then around the back that way. So this is what I meant by sort of scaling the side of the cliff. These people have walking sticks. The only sticks I've got are these two. You can just about see there, it's just unfocused. There, that peak just there in the distance, I think looks like the place I'm walking to based on the mountain structures, and those mountains you should be able to see on the other side of the lake when I arrive. Those there in the middle of your shot. I'm not 100% certain if that is the right place though, but it looks similar to the pictures. This is a place I've actually been looking out for on my way up, because on the way back I'm going to be noticing this sign and going that way, even though I came from this way. And this place goes down to Seccional Gutierrez, the lake down there, and Playa Munoz as well. So that's where my route will differ on the return journey. And at this same split point, there is a sign here behind me that says Frey 2 horas, 2 hours from here. What time is it now? It's 10 past 12 now, so I've been walking for 1 hour 20 minutes. So if you add that on to 2 hours, that would be 3 hours 20, so I'm kind of on track. About 10 minutes after that crossroads, the Scarecrow Wizard of Oz crossroads, I passed the French group that I arrived with. They said they were taking lots of breaks, and the reason I've started recording this video is because I was, with the greatest of respect, stuck behind these two snails here in front of me, but there's not really a clearing to go past them safely. So I'm just recording this video to drop back a bit, and I can walk a bit faster and catch up, and hopefully there's a clearing in the meantime. The break I've taken so far is to take a couple of pictures and to drink a sort of tablet-sized bottle worth of yogurt, maybe 100-150 millilitres. I'm going to see how far I can go without drinking any agua. And I've just noticed up ahead of me, I've got someone who's staying in my hostel about to walk past as well. I'm going to flip my camera around. Hello, how are you? Yeah, not bad, not bad. You've been up and down already?
We went yesterday, we stayed there last night.
Oh, how was it?
It was lovely.
Really nice, yeah, really, really nice.
Plus stars, nice chilled.
Moon's
nice.
lovely.
You can't swim in the lake because it could kill the frogs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's like a very small poster or sign telling you about like biodiversity, don't kill the frogs by swimming in the lake. Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But everyone goes swims in it and it looks very tempting, but we resisted.
We
were thinking about the little frogs.
Yeah.
throw your feet in the river there.
The river's nice.
Yes.
You've got the
Do
river.
I get to the river walking up this way?
Yeah,
then?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
You kind of
eventually,
now
yeah.
you're gonna go and you'll cross the river and then you go up through this valley here.
You've lovely
Okay.
wildflowers, river, then it's an hour, and that hour is
That's steep.
Up and
it's
sunny.
steep and sunny.
So make sure you fill up your water in this stream.
Yeah.
Stay hydrated, man.
Yeah. Cool.
Stay hydrated.
Have a safe journey back.
Hey!
See you later.
See ya, bye-bye. Okay, no swimming because of the frogs, apparently. And apparently there's a river that I'm going to walk up to quite soon. and apparently the last hour is quite steep, which means I've got good opportunities to overtake people. Just in a little place here where you can hear the river very lightly in the background and lots of flowers. Gonna have my first water now. This river behind me, I think around an hour and a half from the end, maybe an hour 40 minutes. I'm now on a metallic bridge that is 15 meters long and has a capacity of 8 people apparently. So that is where the river is that I just crossed, where the 2 Irish women were referring to. I didn't fill up my bottle even though they advised me to. I've got enough water, I've still got a litre and a half. Maybe I'll fill a bottle up on the way back. And I've also got some water purification tablets with me, just in case there's a dead carcass at the top of the stream. Nice yellow flowers, as you can see behind me, some more of them. I thought to try, but I've arrived at Refugio Frey Laguna, and it says Refugio Frey is 1 hour away from here. So let's keep going. I'm something like 15 minutes past that 1 hour sign, and kind of true to its word. It's not as steep as I was expecting so far, but there's still about 45 minutes to go. It is pretty steep up these hills here. Come all the way from down there. Quite slippy as well on the dust. You can see those mountains just peeking through there. Maybe 45 minutes to go. I'm in a vast expanse now. See these mountains behind me with some snow on the mountaintops as well. I'm heading up this path just around... Ooh, what is that? What is that? Oh, it's going to move. There's some kind of insect. So, heading up this path slightly around that corner, and I'm going to be heading towards just left of that mountain peak. And I'm still waiting for the steep bit. I know it's been a bit of an incline here, but not too bad. I presume towards the end where those rocks are starting to poke out with the snow on top, there'll be some climbing to do. Around half an hour away now. Still not too steep. It's nice and shaded the majority of the route as well, apart from the start of the sun's coming from sort of behind you on the left side. About 26, 27 degrees today. Bit of incline here. These rocks going up that way. See the mountains and the elevation behind me. Again, it's not too hard. I don't have to use my hands or anything at the moment, only just to keep my balance on a couple of rocks. I think I'm around 25, 30 minutes away. 20 maybe. I think the lake is just up here by this peak, just on the other side of here. Nearly there. Approaching the final furlong now, I think. Can see a hut, it's just through these bushes. Seems like the average pace of hikers is a bit slower on this route, so I've passed quite a few people. I'm 2 hours 36 minutes in, and I can see my destination for the first time just up here behind me. Oh, can I? It's that hut there, and there's a lake behind it. Looks like there's a sort of river with rocks behind me here that I have to cross. He's just crossed it, and she is about to cross it. So let's have a look. Quite unstable, but it looks like there's going to be nice views out in the middle of it. Oh, a bit wobbly. Yep, definitely nice views. And now I'm on the final furlong, the final ascent up to Refugio Frey Laguna Toncek. Let's try and do this in 5 minutes. Complete this in 5 minutes, barring a disaster. You can just see the top of the hut there above my finger. This is probably the steepest climb and the most dodgy climb in terms of these rocks, but it only lasts maybe 10 meters, but there's not really a defined path here. This is probably the only place where the path is not well defined. This is quite a nice view here. You've got the sign that says Refugio on, and the mountain peaks surrounding the lake. Estoy aquí ahora. I'm here now, and the time on my Denzel stopwatch is 13:30, which means it took me 11:50, 12:50, 2 hours 40 minutes, and I'm here at this Refugio now. So you can pay to stay here, which some people do. They stay overnight and then walk back down the following day. I'm not doing that, I'm doing a day walk. So let's go and have a look at the lake. Here now at the stunning Laguna Toncek, and you won't see many more beautiful lakes than this one behind me, with the scenery behind it. And I'm going to see if I can go and have a dip on the other side where it's less busy to this entrance by the Refugio. Day 47, travelling to every country in South and Central America. Woo! I'm sort of on the other side of the lake now. It's much quieter here, and if I do a 360 here, it almost looks artificial how stunning these mountains and this lake is. And on this side it's a bit more sandy than rocky. I'm going to walk over towards sort of the rocky areas so I don't have to clean the sand out of my feet when I go for a bathing. In fact, it's quite muddy here, quite marsh-like on this side, and I might just be about to pay the price for taking a shortcut to the other side, because this is the only place I can cross the water. So I might be getting my shoes wet for the return journey. Let's find out. I'll be getting my phone wet as well if I drop it. Let me just plan this route. So I'll go that one, that one, that one, that one, then spring over there, or maybe left, right, spring. I'm going to go left, right, spring. Not including the first right. Left, right, spring. Okay, my spring wasn't spring enough. And this one should just be a bit of mud. It's quite sunny, so should dry quite quickly. Now supposedly this lake is ice cold. That wouldn't have been a problem if I'd got in it straight away as I arrived, because I was really sweating quite a lot. But as I've been walking around the lake, I haven't really been exerting much energy. Oh, there's a bird over there. Small bird. Two, one on the rock, one in the water. Decided to perch in this position here, so I can look at these mountains in the background here, and there doesn't seem to be many people here. So let's see how cold it really is. Now I've got two potential towels today, if any are needed. If I get out and it's cold and I need to dry myself off, I've got two options. One is this used t-shirt, which is sort of like a crappy charity shop t-shirt, which I've been using as a towel since I've been away, because I can't be bothered to unpack the towel in my bag. And the other one is the pillowcase from my hostel. So I was thinking, if I use that as a towel, or even just to sit on, maybe not to sit on actually, because it's quite mossy here, but if I use that as a towel, then because of the sun today, it will dry on the way back, and by the time I get back, I can just turn it inside out and use it as a pillowcase again. This is a silhouette of me in just some underwear. I did bring some swimming trunks, but honestly, I'm sweating so much that my underwear is so wet, I'm just going to go in with my underwear, and it might dry when I get out, once I sit down and have something to eat. It's not as cold as I was first expecting when I first walked in. Still pretty cold. I am around 2,000 meters above sea level at the moment, which explains why it's cold. Oh, now that is nice and refreshing. That was good. Just moved the camera to a different angle to give you a different perspective. There's nobody swimming in the middle of the lake, and I know why, because when you walk around 5 meters in, your foot sinks and it sort of almost pulls you in, a bit like quicksand. So I'm just going to sort of bathe in this area here. Someone quite interestingly walking up this mountain on the other side of the camera just took a picture of me bathing. Chris Hansen is in Patagonia at the moment. I found quite a nice spot where I've been sitting for probably around 20 minutes. I just thought I'd show you where I was sitting. It's quite secluded behind this rock. On the right hand side as you enter into Laguna Toncek. I've just been leaning. Okay, so I've been for my swim now. I've probably been sort of in and out for around 20-30 minutes, and it's really not cold at all. Yeah, not cold. I'm just stood here in my wet underpants, and I'm going to have something to eat, and hopefully by the time I've finished eating, my underpants will be drier than they were when I was sweating in them on the way up, which will be sufficient enough for the walk down. If not, I've got a spare pair in my bag, but I don't have a pair to eat. I don't have a spare pair. I've just got a spare pair of underpants. Yeah, alright. I do have an apple though. I've just noticed the back of my shirt looks like this. It's got brown, wet mud all over it. So I'm going to risk washing it and hope that it dries while I'm eating, just before I start eating. I'm going to wash it in the lake. There's lots of flies around here, I think. Maybe wasps. If it doesn't dry in time, I've got my crappy shirt that I can wear on the way back. I don't even think that helped. You still see the brown on it. Oh well. I'll lay it on this rock over here, see if it dries. It's now 2:30. I'm going to start off with a banana, carrot and a cucumber, a cheese sandwich with some melted butter, which is melted in my jacket pocket. So I'm going to finish this off. So my underpants dried to a point where they were drier than they were when I arrived due to the sweat, and I've just used my pillowcase to dry my feet. So I've got my trousers back on, shoes back on. I just don't know whether to wait for this to dry, or will probably dry in about half an hour if I just stand here and shake it. There's a bit of a wind here, or I could put my crappy smart shirt on and just, I might wrap this around my head to keep me cool on the way back, and it'll probably dry. That's probably the option I'm going to go for. So before I leave, a bit of information if you're looking to do this. You have to, or at least supposed to, fill in a sworn statement. It's just like a Google form online to say that you're hiking here, because this is inside the Nahuel Happy National Park in southern Argentina. And for sort of long treks like the one I've done today, I think they want, for safety reasons, for example, if someone goes missing or injured or something, they need to know where they were planning to walk to. Not need to know, would prefer to know. And for this one, you just go on the Nahuel Huapi website, which is, I've got this piece of paper here, www.nahuelhuapi.gov.ar, all lowercase, and you have to do it no later than 2 days in advance. So basically, you fill in the form, and then the 2 days after that, or the day after it, or the same day, is the day that you can go trekking. So I filled mine in for yesterday, and yesterday I woke up with, let's say, toilet issues, having eaten a rare Argentinian steak. Would I do it again? I'm not sure. Probably not. I'd probably try a different restaurant, to be honest. So it was a 9 out of 10 though. But when I filled in a form for yesterday, obviously I didn't come, so I had to fill in another form for today. And it only takes around 3 minutes. Got this sort of map here, which I haven't looked at while I've been walking, because the route is pretty self-explanatory. You can't really get lost as long as you're on the right path from the beginning. And it looks like this lake is at around 2,000 meters above sea level. The bus number 55 takes you to the Villa Catedral, which is what I did. Well, I didn't get the bus, but I was planning to. I got an Uber instead. But once you're at the Villa Catedral, you can walk here, and you can either walk back to the Villa Catedral and get the expensive bus back, but I'm walking back to Los Cohuillas, Cohiues, to get the bus number 50. The reason I'm getting the bus number 50 back, rather than starting my route from there, is because they come every 20 minutes, whereas the bus number 55 that takes you to the top of Villa Catedral only comes every 2 hours. So if I was to get back to the place that I started today, and a bus is left, say 15 minutes before I arrived, I'd have to wait another hour and 45 minutes, whereas the other place, I only have to wait 20 minutes, even in the worst possibility. So that is the reason. And now I'm going to say adios to Laguna Toncek, and start walking back with either a wet shirt on or a dry shirt on and a wet shirt on my face. I went with option number 1 or 2, but I've gone with the wet shirt option. Not very comfortable, but I'll see if it dries on the way back. And just one more thing, if you were listening to the Irish people earlier, I specifically asked before coming here whether I was allowed to swim in this lake, and I asked the official park authorities in Bariloche Centre, and they said yes, you can swim in the lake. So I also didn't see any sign that said do not swim in the lakes here, so I'm not going to take the word of 2 Irish people against the information building in town and the fact that there aren't any signs here saying do not swim. I think there was a sign when I came in that said don't use any shampoos or shower gels or something along those lines, but I don't think it mentioned swimming. So I'm just leaving the lake now. Just noticed these little sort of, what are they called? Cairns? Shelters behind me made of rock, just next to the Refugio here. And I think you can also book with this Refugio a place to camp here overnight. They also have beds in here, a little smaller than I was expecting, but got 1956 written on it. I presume that's when it was built. Just going to see if I can find a sign where it says no shampoo. Any Spanish speakers will be able to translate this, but I'm pretty sure that that first line says recommends no recreational activities in the interior of the lake, so it's a recommendation. And this bit at the bottom here is about soaps, detergents and shampoos, which I didn't use any of, so that's fine. The wind is starting to pick up here. I'm leaving now and it should be around 5 hours back, quite late actually. Maybe I can do it in around 3 or 4 hours. Downhill, so it should be easier, well it should be quicker, but less easy on the legs, on the old cartilage. And I'm going to head towards Lake Gutierrez to get the bus back. I also just got my photo taken on top of a big rock just here with this woman behind me. That was in return for me taking a picture of their entire group. So they offered it, I didn't ask for it. I'm starting the walk now. It's actually 16:20. I managed to find a bin. It was in some free toilets that they've got here in the Refugio. Toilets for everyone to use, even if you're not staying there. 16:20 departure time. Now the issue is I'm going to give you 2 finish points, because one is when I get to the road by the lake, and the other one is the bus stop, because I've got to walk along a road by the lake to get to the bus stop, which takes around 40 minutes. This is not enjoyable for me at all, walking down this steep rocky road. Much rather walk up. By the time I get to the end, I might have no knees. Luckily the sun doesn't set in Bariloche or in this area of Argentina at this time of year until around 9 o'clock, so I've got around 4 or 5 hours before it starts to get dark. I'm going to fill up my water with some water from this stream. It's much more upstream than where the Irish woman spoke to me, so less chance of dirt getting into it. And I'm going to try my chlorine water purification tablet for the first time a bit later on in this walk. I'll let the water warm up a bit first, so it's easier for the tablet to dissolve. The highest creator is at work again, providing steps with the roots of trees. At this Refugio, and there's some kind of hut behind me with a cross. So I'm back at this river on the 15-meter metal bridge. So I'm going to be testing out the Life Systems chlorine tablets. There's 60 in here. Kills bacteria, viruses and giardia. Easy to use, 60 foil wrap tablets. And it says to use 1 tablet to every 1 litre of water. If the water is very cold or if heavy microbiological contamination is suspected, add 2 tablets per litre. I've filled up this 500 milliliter bottle, so I'm just going to add 1 tablet. As I got it, it was quite cold at the stream. And rather than break up a tablet and try and save it, it'll be easier. And 30 minutes after I do it, I can drink it. Okay, so here is the water from the stream up near Laguna Toncek in Patagonia. And here is a section with a tablet that I've ripped off from the Life Systems tablet. You can see the tablet through there. Let's hope my water doesn't spill while I place it here. Got the tablet here. And I'm just going to drop it in like that. There it is at the bottom. Does it say to shake it? Shake the container thoroughly and then wait for 30 minutes before drinking. The time now is 17:12 at this riverfront behind me, which means I've been walking for, can't remember what time I left, 16:20, so maybe 50 minutes walking so far. I've stopped here for quite a long time to film this video, so in half an hour-ish, or at the next suitable point, around half an hour, I will try the Patagonian water, and in the night following, I'll let you know if I was feeling any effects from drinking that wild water. Hello again.
Oh, yeah.
It's 17:28 and I've reached the place where I'm going the other way, down here. So I arrived from Villa Catedral this way, and I recorded this halfway when I was coming on the way up. Ooh, a bumblebee. And now I'm going the other way towards Lake Gutierrez. It's a bit more bushy and flowery on this route, and it's quite a steep drop on this route as well. I don't know if you can see through the bushes, but it does go down quite far. Obviously the bushes would probably break my fall on the way, but it's right on the edge compared to the main route, which is up there. I've arrived at a cross section here, and this board here says 1 hour 30 minutes to Lake Gutierrez. Once I get there, I've got to walk to Villa Las Coillas, which is also on the directions here, which is another half an hour-ish. And then, if you want to, you can go that way to a beach called Playa Munoz. The time now is 17:51, so I'm going to give my Life Systems purified water a quick go, as I'm quite thirsty as well. Let's taste it. It tastes nicer than the bottled water in Bariloche. Maybe that's because this water's come from the top of a mountain. There is a slight taste of chlorine in there, actually, after my third sip. And yeah, the more I drink of it, actually, the more it tastes like a swimming pool, but it's not that bad, and I'll see whether that water affects me in any way. Now we're 45 minutes away, and you can see the sun slowly lowering, slowly setting. It's kind of dry and arid on this route on the way back, a bit dusty. Just walked down some rocks as well. About an hour away from the lake, and then another half an hour-ish away from the bus stop. And I think there might be some waterfalls near the end of this sort of forest area behind me. And the lake has come into view for the first time, really, on the way back. Here now at the Cascada de los Duanes. You can see them behind me. I'm actually going to try and cross this river because it's really busy on that side. There's no one on the other side. The only issue is I've got to walk over this, which could be interesting. I'll actually put my phone in my pocket for this one. I'll try it while holding my phone. I'm gonna to that log. I'm just gonna jump from here, I think. I want to try and get over the side there. Right, now I'm the only one on this side. See everyone else on that side. My phone is nearly out of charge. I think it's around a 45-minute walk from here, maybe 15 minutes to exit the park and then 30 minutes to the bus. So I'm actually going to sit here and have some more to eat. It's quite nice and calming here. The sun is slowly setting over the foothills of the Andes, and I've got some homemade jam with homemade bread to eat. Oh, and it says no trespassing on this side. Interesting. I've got an apple as well here. It looks a bit dodgy, but it'll do. So I'm just going to leave now, and on my online map it says, my offline map says 50 minutes walk from here. I've made it to the road now. My phone charge is very, very low. So it's another it's actually more, 40-minute walk from here to the bus stops. And here is Lake Gutierrez behind me. I'm going to try hitchhiking this road. Yep, the car was full. There's another car behind it. Third car. Nope. Fourth car. Don't think I'm going to have much luck here. Okay, well, I don't know whether it was the water or something else. I know yesterday I wasn't feeling too well, but I have definitely had to rush to a toilet. In fact, this is something I rarely do. I paid to use this toilet because it was only for customers. So I bought a bottle of water for around £2.80, just so I could use the toilet. And yeah, I wouldn't say it's terrible, but I definitely had to rush. So yeah, maybe the tablets don't work, or maybe it was something else. Wow, so it was that restaurant with the lights behind me that I had to rush to. It was cow-packed-like consistency. So is it the waters of Patagonia? Is it the second day on from the Argentinian steak? Or is it just something else? Who knows? I think I'm at the bus stop now, waiting for bus 50. And I feel like I might need to walk back down to that restaurant any moment now, to be honest. My phone is on 4%, so I'm gonna turn it off just in case I need it when I get back to Bariloche Centre. And I'm just gonna wait here for the bus. So there's not really much else to see other than this mountain behind me with the sun setting over it. I hope you enjoyed the video from walking from Villa Catedral to Refugio Frey Laguna Toncek, and then down to Lake Gutierrez to the bus stop. I forgot to say, I got down to Lake Gutierrez from Refugio Frey at 19:30, I think. So it took me 3 hours, 10 minutes, but I did stop at the waterfalls for around half an hour. So again, probably 2 hours, 40 minutes. And then the walk here was a interesting half an hour walk because I was looking for foresty areas that were covered so I could use it as a nature's bathroom, but there weren't really any areas unless I walked back to the path that I came down on. But I managed to make half an hour to that cafe restaurant and use their facilities for the hefty price of £3.
When I wake up and smile, I feel like my life's alive. Put up in a drop top, yeah, she hopped in the ride. Cruising around the city, then she let us survive. Slept under the stars.